Welcome to another edition of All Octaves with me, Val Kleinhans. I am so glad that you're here today, especially if you are a fan of folk or Americana. We've had a couple of those acts on the show lately, and this is another one that's going to blow you away. The Wildwoods are here. They are a folk trio from Nebraska. Two of the Wildwoods are here, Noah and Chloe. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hey Val, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So let's talk about the initial love of music. How did that take hold? How did you get interested in it, your instruments, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I think our journeys are a little bit different. Well, I started playing the violin when I was in the third grade, and my older brother was playing guitar for a while, and I just wanted to be able to play music with him and just do something. I wasn't always into sports or anything like that, and I just wanted to put my time into something that seemed fun.
Mm.
And my elementary and middle school did not have like a school orchestra or a string program growing up. So my grandpa actually bought me violin lessons, and I've been doing it ever since. And I did orchestras and stuff throughout middle school, but I would go to different schools and just participate in their orchestras.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess when I was a young child, my mother enrolled me and my two siblings all into piano lessons,
Mm.
and I was kind of the only one that stuck with it, but
Okay.
I think I drove my piano teacher a little wild because, she was always trying to teach me all this classical stuff, all this, I don't
Mm.
know, very old music, which is beautiful, which I adore very much, but um I kind of bombarded her constantly with questions on writing music and how people kind of craft a tune. And so that's kind of where my initial musical interest came to be, was when I first started to try to kind of write my own stuff. It just gave me such a rush, or such a good feeling, that I just kind of kept up with it all these years, and then just started. My dad bought himself a guitar, tried to learn how to play it, learned a few chords, but I kind
You
of
know
stole
three
that.
chords, you know 1,000 songs. It
He
works.
knows exactly three chords, so
Yeah.
he I kind of stole his guitar from him, and taught myself a little bit of that, and that's kind of how that became my main instrument. And yeah, I don't know, just kind of keeping up with it, just kind of always being excited about it, has just
I think like the similarity in our stories are is that we've always had very supportive parents when it comes to
Mm.
music, and they've always been very encouraging. And my dad is not musical at all, but he loves music. He loves listening to music. My mom has always been very musical, and she actually almost majored in music when she was in college before becoming a teacher. But we just had a lot of inspiration from whether that be people that appreciated music or played music around us pretty much our whole
yeah.
lives.
I think my parents were very good about pushing me to continue, because I was not really good at anything else. I was always a terrible student in school, was horrible at any sport they tried to put me in. But they realized I was very, very interested in music, so they were very and they're neither of them are musicians, but they were very much a vital part in the push.
Encouraging.
Yeah, encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah. So for young Noah and young Chloe, what's being played around the house? What are you hearing first?
Oh man. So my mom listened to a lot of um like the Mamas and the Papas,
Mm.
John Denver, um Tom Petty. Just like kind of all kinds of different music. I don't know. The
Gosh.
old school stuff.
Yeah, a lot of Disney soundtracks when I was a young
Yes.
child. Um, let's see. A lot of my dad is a huge John Prine fan. That's I always kind of heard his songs growing up quite a bit. Um, yeah, kind of a lot of older country from my dad and my grandparents. They were very big into old country music. My mom's always kind of been into very, very ballad-esque um, Christian music, with a lot of, you
Mm.
know, a lot of chord changes, a lot of.
She loves Jason Mraz.
Oh, Jason Mraz as well.
Oh.
Jason Mraz
Yeah.
was probably the artist that was played the most when I was younger. Sorry, I think I tried to block that out of my memory, and then no, I
Yeah.
love Jason Mraz.
And
He's
then
he played a vital role. My,
Jason Mraz. My mom loves John Mellencamp too.
oh, there you go.
I mean, all of these names and everything you're
Yeah.
throwing at me, it's like, well, who doesn't like them?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know many people that don't like who you've mentioned so far. I can
Yeah.
tell you've kept up with, studying your instruments and perfecting it. And I mean, you guys harmonize so well. I was blown away when I was
Aw.
taking a listen earlier.
Thank you, Val.
Chloe, well, you're welcome, Chloe. I think your voice rivals Alison Krauss. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh my
She
Tell
god.
gets that
me,
a lot.
Thank
I
you.
mean, it does. Like, I don't know, because that's what some of the stuff that my mom was playing when I was younger, like, especially on camping trips. It was a lot of John Denver, Alsa Krauss, the Cox family, like
Yeah.
those, or the Honky Tonk Angels, Linda Ronstadt and Dolly and all of them.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think it was Tammy Wynette. But anyway, uh, she was playing a lot of that, and I was like, oh my God, I'm listening to you, and I'm going, I'm being transported to like camping trips when I was 7 years old now
Oh.
because it sounds so similar. So were you self-taught? Did you seek a teacher? That question really is for both of you.
Yeah, as far as like my singing ability and your singing ability, we kind of are just our self-taught, and I think we're very self-conscious when it comes to our vocals.
We'll,
Like I would say both of us, I can't speak for Andy too, but I'm sure he would feel the same. Like we think of ourselves as like instrumentalists, I guess, before vocalists. And so Noah and I met when we were 14, and I will say that when we met and we tried to start learning songs together and playing music, it was like Alison Krauss, like Johnny Cash, June Carter, um, I don't know, Dolly Parton. It was all those like old time country songs that we were learning, and I guess trying to emulate a little bit. So I think without like even realizing, maybe I started to pick up on some of those, like just how to sing, like those female artists that I look up to so much.
Well, I think that's how a lot of, the people we look up to did. It was kind of trying to emulate their favorite artists. But I think we both sang in choir
We did.
throughout high school together. And
Yeah.
I think just kind of learning things from that in terms of blending, in terms of how to sing against another or two parts happening simultaneously or three parts. I think that was. I'm sorry, our dog is barking. I don't know if you can hear it.
We like dogs. We love dogs. It's okay.
Margaret.
Is it a boy or girl?
It's a girl. Her name is Margaret. She's a basset hound.
Oh, well, she has a lot to say, apparently.
Yeah,
Hello,
she
Margaret.
I think she's confused why we're talking to the computer.
Yeah,
I'm ignoring her.
She'll just keep going if I might let her outside really quick.
Oh yeah, maybe she's got to go.
We'll have
I
to
understand.
have a pause here in the.
That's okay. This can all be edited later.
Very good. Sorry, Val. It's kind of chaotic around here.
That's okay. Margaret needs to speak.
Oh, she does. She usually it just she's a very jealous dog. So sometimes when she
you're giving us attention and not her, and that's an issue.
I think so. So I think she kind of picked up on that. It's like, why are you guys in here without me? It's time for me to eat.
Oh yeah, it's my cat's dinner time too. I had to feed my cat before, otherwise she would have been like clawing at my leg, and I'm like, oh my God, they love to do those figure eights between your legs, and I'm like, ma'am, I cannot get to your food bowl if you're tripping me. This does not work.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so that's fine. We can do a quick pause. That's good.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's fine. That's why this isn't live. That's exactly why this isn't live.
That's awesome.
And we can edit this and take care of that later. Tell me the story of how the three of you met.
Yeah, so Chloe and we met when we were in 8th grade. We went to different schools, but our friend groups kind of merged, and we quickly found out that we were both musicians, and so
yeah, so, like before we met, I was playing with my brother who played the guitar, and we would just like busk at farmers markets and stuff, and then we joined this program in our community called Academy of Rock, and they kind of just take middle school kids and pair them into bands, and you just play like classic rock songs together and just learn how to be in a band. And then you were actually in that program too, but I didn't know who you were, and I didn't even know you were in the program. But then we met. Yeah. Then we met, and we were like, let's play music together. So you joined our rock band, and we were called Rabbits with Gas Masks. And
Yes,
yeah,
I love that.
we did that just for like maybe a few months, and then we were all three of us were like, okay, we need to play like acoustic music because that's what we really love to listen to, and I think we were all better at playing it. Yeah, and we played like that for a little while. My brother was actually in the Wildwoods with us all throughout high school and after high school a little bit too. And we met Andy in high school. He went to our high school couple or just a year older than us. And he was in show choir with us all throughout high school. And then he joined our group actually after we graduated when we got into college. And then, yeah.
Yeah, we've kind of had a long list of members throughout the years because we started playing together in 2012. We started out as a trio, then we kind of became like a 5-piece with drums and bass. And then we had added a keyboard player, our friend Jack. And then we added cello player, which is our friend Michelle, which she still plays with us every once in a while. All the cello that you hear on our newest album was recorded by her. But yeah, then after graduating college, this was kind of when COVID was kind of at its peak. During our senior year throughout 2020 and then 2021, we graduated. And since people weren't very comfy with being around each other quite yet, the group merged itself into basically just being Chloe and I during that time. And so after we graduated, we decided to really just pursue it as the two of us. Of course, everybody else has jobs, so they can't go travel around the country in an old van, but that's what we wanted to do, so that's what we did
And
for
then
a while.
Yeah, just until this past September, that's when Andy joined us and we became a trio full time. So it's been kind of crazy because we were just introducing Andy into doing this with us, and then we started making these like videos for TikTok and Instagram, and they kind of blew up a little bit right as he was joining us full time. So it was like he was jumping in when everything was like on fire, and it's been kind of crazy ever since. But
yeah, so that's when we kind of rebranded as a trio.
Yeah.
And obviously I think that has worked out the best for us throughout our musical journey. Andy definitely brings a lot to the table, and I think it's just kind of allowed us to, I don't know, craft the sound that we really want to make, I guess.
Yeah. It's always been really interesting. Like, we just love playing music with people, and with each other. But there are so many good people that we've met along the way that have been in the Wildwoods or played with the Wildwoods, like, since we've started it. And it's just been so awesome and great to see how it's evolved. And, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say Lincoln is kind of a hidden gem in terms of musical talent. There are just so many wildly, in Omaha too, there are just so many wildly talented folks.
That was my question. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because I think the rest of the U.S. has this perception that there's nothing going on in Nebraska. It's corn.
For sure.
Period.
Absolutely.
Like corn, and one time Tommy Lee went there to go to college. Like that's that's as much as like most people I think know about Nebraska. So set the record straight. What are the misconceptions about Nebraska or the music scene in Nebraska that are just totally false?
Well, I was going to say
we were just talking to someone about this on tour.
Well, when we tour to states outside of the Midwest, we are constantly told that the people talking to us have never met anybody from Nebraska, or we hear that quite often.
Or they've never been to Nebraska. They just like fly over it. They call it the flyover state.
Well, people ask us if there are, one of the most common questions is, are there cities in Nebraska, or is it just,
oh my Lord, really? The audacity!
I know.
Well, of course everyone knows Omaha. Actually, when we tour, because we're from Lincoln, everyone just automatically assumes we're from Omaha, and I don't know why.
I don't know. There were four or five venues on this tour that when they announced us before we came out, they said the Wildwoods from Omaha, Nebraska, which is fine.
Omaha's my God, everybody's getting your stuff wrong.
Omaha's only 45 minutes away from us, so
it really is pretty much just Lincoln and Omaha, like the big metropolis areas, and then everything else is just like small town farmland.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Yeah.
Nebraska is a very beautiful state. It's not just all completely flat, especially when you get up into the Panhandle there and the sandhills. There's just a lot of really really beautiful areas. But in terms of kind of the music scene here, it's a small but real close, real tight knit community that's very welcoming to you know anybody that wants to play music or get involved with the venues in some sort of way.
so
Um,
I'm reminded of the conversation we had like a couple weeks ago with someone who had just visited Nebraska for the first time on like a business trip or something. He came to
Mm.
Lincoln, and he said he loves when he travels just going to like the smaller cities like of a state that not a lot of
Hmm.
people pay attention to. And he said that he notices there's a lot more creativity and just like passion and love for the arts in these kind of communities. And I think it's because everyone is like, I mean, there's not that much to do around here except focus and really put a lot into your craft and the things that you love to do, the things that just bring you joy and
Hmm.
things that you're passionate about. So I have noticed that too. I mean, of course there's a lot going on in like the bigger cities like Chicago and um Minneapolis. But I don't know, it's just very rare, I think, that I feel like all of our friends, everybody that we know, they're just great musicians, great at what they do, whether they're even if they're not musicians, like artists or I don't know.
well, you might think it's rare because we're kind of involved in it. We haven't really broken into any other music communities anywhere else other than just kind of stopping on our tours. But yeah, it
Yeah.
is really such a great community here that we've that's how we've really made all of our friends that we have is just through playing music, through going to house shows, playing at house shows, playing at all the venues, just getting on bills with other bands. Because there's not a ton of us, so obviously you're gonna run into everybody multiple
Mm.
times. You know.
Money. That sounds a lot like Rochester. That sounds
Yeah.
so much like Rochester. And I think it's because, yeah, it's a community that nurtures itself just because there aren't a whole lot of us around to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I say us like I'm a musician, but I'm really not. I'm just kind of I am a fan, I enjoy. But
Yeah.
so I think that's the intention behind it. It's like we're gonna support ourselves if nobody else does. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're gonna worry about us. We're gonna do our thing when the rest of the world might have no clue who we are, or maybe we can't find a venue that week. Because that's somewhat of a struggle here sometimes, is like there's not a whole lot of places to play.
Yeah.
And so I mean, we've had shows at just like somebody's mom and pop shop just because they wanted to put on a show or
Yeah.
whatever, and they happen to know the owner, or you get creative. You
Yeah.
have
Oh yeah.
you find different ways to put stuff on, and
Oh yeah.
I love to see it. It was kind of like that in Pittsburgh too. That's where I'm originally from. So
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha.
if I don't sound like I'm from the Midwest, it's because I'm not. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, but
Okay.
and it was similar there too. It
Yeah, we
was
we played in Pittsburgh for the first time on this tour that we just came back from,
love it.
and it was
I
it was
miss it.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
Lovely.
I
great.
miss it a lot. I mean, there's plenty to love about Minnesota, but I mean, everybody misses their hometown from
Yeah.
time to time. But
Hmm.
I've been here for like 7 years, and it's cool. It
Oh
didn't
wow.
take me long to get to know like the music scene here. And that's
Hmm.
just because I sought it out. Which
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
anybody like if you really want to get to know a music scene in your own city, you can. It's called Facebook. It's called
Oh
social
yeah.
media. Like
Yeah.
do a little bit of digging and you will find what's going on in your area. You will get a taste for the local scene. Is that how most of your fans find you? Do they is there just talk in town, or are they finding you online?
Well, in Nebraska, in Lincoln especially, we've we've lived here our whole lives and we've been playing for 10 years, so I just kind of think naturally we've been able to build up
It's got to be word of mouth a little bit at that point.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh for
like
sure. Really.
it's like what you said, like just people getting involved in the music community, whether or not they are musicians themselves. I think there's a lot of people like that here in Lincoln that, I mean, we know so many people that we see at shows all the time just because they love going to see live music,
Oh
not,
yeah,
Mhm.
regardless of who is playing,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah.
But yeah, I think just from playing everywhere we possibly can around Lincoln and Omaha has kind of given us a good following around this area. But in terms of places outside of Nebraska, um, getting people to shows has definitely been because of our social media followings, mainly Instagram and TikTok, which has been really really um, amazing to see, and we're super thankful for people to come out and support in real life as well as on social media and whatnot. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think there's such a love for folk and Americana today? Because you're finding the fans and you're still championing it yourselves by playing it. You're keeping the genre alive. There's something about it that makes us, I think, a little bit nostalgic. Why do you think, is that one reason? Why do you think so
yeah,
many people are loving this now?
I thought about this the other day a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, mostly what Noah and I listen to at home, it's always that genre. I mean, we listen to jazz and other genres too, but that's like the one genre I feel like we're drawn most to most of the
Mhm.
time. And I don't know. I don't know. Do you have a thought?
I was thinking about this the other day about I was kind of listening through my old playlists on Spotify that I'd made when I was like
That's
in middle
fun.
school and then in high school,
Yeah.
which is what kind of has kept me on Spotify, just being able to go back and listen to all those playlists. Um, and gosh, I think the one of the reasons why at least it's become such a staple genre in our listening circle has been mainly because of, I guess, how soft and how calming a lot of it can be. Throughout a
Okay.
lot of my old playlists, there was a lot of chaotic music, um, and which
I feel like the melodies and just like the natural tone of the instruments in this genre, it just makes music easy to listen to. Like it's
yeah
just pleasing to sit down and like I don't know, kind of go into a different world a little bit. You're just
yeah
relaxing to what you're listening to.
yeah. So I think kind
Yeah.
of being able to, I don't know, just relax and just be able to just kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
I don't
Just
know
No,
be
either.
I think I get, I think I feel it because I mean, Lord knows we've been through enough this past 3 years with so
Yeah.
yeah
much,
Yeah.
just within our own country. There's been so much going on. It is nice to have a break and to just kind
Mhm.
of like have something on and go, oh, this
oh
isn't,
for sure.
this doesn't make me want to like white knuckle it down a road for a change or whatever. Like
Yeah.
Right, I can
it's,
Yeah.
kind of,
yeah.
it's kind of like being in Target when there's so many people in there, maybe on
Listen,
Christmas
Target is
Eve.
soothing. Target is life.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was saying the
Tar-
opposite. I was saying
oh,
it can
Noah
be,
gets like grocery
oh
store,
my gosh,
department store
I just get
anxiety.
so
I
anxious
do.
at
Well,
the
I do
Target when there's so
too.
many people.
Yeah.
And
I
then
know.
it's like, so that's like, when you're listening to like metal or
Yes.
something that's real intense, which
Yeah.
has its time and place, but then after you're done in Target, you get in the car, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm here right
I
now.
want to
That's
calm
like,
down now.
right, that's
I
like
know.
throwing on a Gillian Welch record or something. You're like, oh, thank
Yeah.
God I'm here right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have friends that don't play music in our genre, and we've had conversations with them before about like artists that we love. Just like I automatically assume everyone knows who I'm talking about when I say like Gillian Welch or something like that. But I mean, I'd be curious to ask them why they don't really listen to the genre that we listen to, because
You should.
they, yeah, they listen to like funk, I don't know, jazz, like that
Hmm.
just all the
Well,
time.
everybody has, what their mind just attracts them to, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'd
I
be
remember.
curious
Yeah,
to the answer to that. I would be curious
yeah,
as to what somebody else's answer to why, this genre versus another genre is. I love that
Oh
because I
yeah.
think you can kind of get to know somebody that way a little bit too. Like
yeah,
I
I'm
know for
sure.
a fact that I love hip hop and metal and rock, especially because it's rebellious.
yeah,
And the content is rebellion. And I
yeah,
don't like to follow the rules. I like to be independent and do things my own way. So why wouldn't I gravitate towards something that
Yeah.
champions that?
I was just gonna say that, I think that could be you're getting in the car music when you get in the car and there's
Yeah,
there's no more chaos. You put on some rock or some metal, and you're like, ah, now I'm relaxing.
yeah.
cool. And so I know you've played shows outside of the US too. And I wondered because Americana is so rooted in the US, how does the genre translate overseas or how have you seen it received when you've been outside the
Oh
US?
gosh. Well,
Almost even better, honestly, than here in the US.
Really?
Like,
it was just one time that we
well,
went over there. It was May 2019, and it was like right after our sophomore year of college, and we just kind of wanted to go on a trip.
Yeah,
So
the only reason for this trip is because we wanted to go outside of the US. And then we were
Yeah.
like, what if we book some shows over there too? That could be fun. And I mean, I feel like it honestly now mine and Noah's excuse to go on a trip is, we have a show to play. Let's go to this place.
Okay.
I think one of the interesting aspects of it was the places that we did play, I think, rarely have American groups play at them. They were kind of in hidden areas of these countries that tourists probably don't go to too often. And so I think when we played, I think a lot of people were just surprised that
They were
we were there. So
surprised, and they like every single time we played there, the room was silent. Like people were there to listen to the music, and
Yeah.
and it just seemed like after every show, everyone that was there listening to us just wanted to come up and talk to us and ask us questions about our music and the instruments that we were playing. And I don't know if that's because we weren't from there, so we were like extra interesting to them, or if it's
Probably.
because or if it's because the music just sounded different to what they normally are used to.
yeah, I don't know. We played a Willie Nelson song in Ireland, and people lost their minds.
Yeah.
I bet. Well, there's something with Ireland too. Like I always thought that I thought it was weird that like I love Thin Lizzy, for example, and Phil Lynott is, they're from Ireland, they champion Ireland, they love Ireland, and then they write cowboy song about like this guy doing an internship in Texas, essentially on a ranch, and I'm like, why is an Irish guy interested?
Oh, they love country music
in
over
cowboy culture, but they are. It's and maybe it's because it's different, and that I think goes to show that like music knows no bounds. It doesn't matter where you're from, even if you don't even have to speak the same language. If it resonates, it resonates. Period.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. I watched this little short documentary on YouTube the other day about country music in Japan in the 1960s and 70s, and it was just so interesting. If they would, emulate the American cowboy culture, I guess, and it was just so interesting to see how, they would do the cowboy accents, and it was just such an amazing thing to see. The world really isn't the world is really much smaller than we think, I guess. I don't know. Everybody connects in some way.
Yeah.
So I know you've got some new singles out now. Tell me about your favorite ones. What you're excited about.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So one of the singles off of our album that is my favorite is West Virginia Rain.
Very pretty. John Denver inspired, maybe.
It was inspired. Well, we wrote it when we were in West Virginia. And I don't know. You were listening to Noah is the songwriter of our group, so you write most. What musician inspired that?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think.
Sometimes, like when you're writing too, you're listening to a certain artist at the time, and I don't know if you're like doing that on purpose or if it's just like what you're listening to, so some of the songs kind of sound like they're
I think I was at the time listening to a lot of Jose Gonzalez, which is one of my favorite artists. And at the time when I wrote it, there was a new album of his that I was just kind of really obsessed about, because just his finger picking patterns and just his choice of chords throughout his songs creates just such a beautiful soundscape that just really drew me into it. And so I think just listening from that, I was writing a ton of finger picking tunes where I was just trying to be not as complex as Jose Gonzalez, but just kind of the soothing prettiness, I guess, of light finger picking,
like a meditation almost.
Got it.
He started writing that song. We were at a campsite in West Virginia. We had a couple days off, and on this tour it was just Noah and I, and we had planned like a whole bunch of outdoor free activities to do on our days off. That's why we got a campsite, and it just like downpoured rain for like 2 days straight. It would not stop. And we couldn't do anything. I think like the park we were going to go to, they closed it because they were having mudslides. The rain was so bad.
We were stuck at our campsite.
Yeah, I remember I was like inside cooking dinner or something. I don't remember what I was doing, but I just heard you like doing the guitar lick outside, and I was like, "What is that?"
Save that. Write that down.
Yeah.
We're gonna put it on the record.
And I just remember like the vision of the rain happening, and it was just, I don't know, it just matched the scene perfectly.
Yeah, trying to, you know, situational
Mm.
composition, I guess, is
It was
is
also so at the time when we had left on that tour, we were in the process of recording the album that we just released. And Andy wasn't full time with us yet playing, and we had like a lot of the songs done, recorded. That song though was the last song that we decided to put on the record, and it was the first song that we really incorporated like the full 3-part harmonies
Mm.
with the new trio thing that we were trying out. So it's also kind of just like it, I think it sounds different than everything else that's on the album, but in a really good and unique way.
yeah.
So what's coming next? What can we look forward to moving forward with Wildwoods?
Oh gosh, well I think we have
We have a new single we're going to release
new
soon.
single we're going to release soon. We have about, I think, 200 shows um, coming up from now until
Yeah, I
April of
saw.
next year, which we're super excited to go um, and play for as many people as we possibly can. So please come see us
Yeah.
if we're coming to your area. But you know, we've been working on a lot of new tunes, even though we did just release an album. Of course, our tour that we just got back from, and the tours that we're going on now coming up are definitely to get that album out there more. But you know, we're just kind of constantly inspired by a lot of the places we go, or a lot of the people we meet, or just kind of situations that we fall into. So we're constantly inspired to continue to work through new tunes. We have a bunch of new songs we're working on, and yeah, I think we're gonna try to just kind of release singles throughout the next year as much as we can.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been trying to focus. So we took some time off before this tour that we just got back from to finish our album and just stay home for a little bit.
Mhm.
And now we're getting into the season where we're going to be touring a lot. So we've been working really hard at like getting things booked because we right now we do everything just ourselves. We book everything ourselves, and it's kind of crazy. So we're hoping to find a booking agent, get someone to help us out with like the admin side. That's not as fun. And hopefully get another new album out there soon too.
Yeah, yeah, we're not proud of being independent artists.
In some
takes-
We want
aspects.
the help.
In some
Yeah.
ways, especially booking, it just takes so much time, and we
It
really wish we
does.
had that time to
What are what
do
are the
other stuff.
tedious parts about that? Because I'm not a musician. I have no clue. I don't see the insides of that. So for the fan who watches you at the show, what how much work does it go into you being actually there, you booking it, performing, the production, all that? Give us the fan some perspective on
Well,
how hard it really is to make that happen.
it's kind
Yeah.
of like, you know,
It's a lot.
there's that take that one show, but then, you know,
Multiply by like
two.
20.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you
Well, we
know,
have to like first like we have to figure out how to route the tour, and then it's just like finding places. It's kind of like pulling places out of thin air. We're like asking all of our musician
Oh,
friends that tour
oh
like
yeah,
where's the good spot to play in this city? Like help us out. Do you have a contact for this venue? So it's just like first getting a venue to look at our email and respond to us, and we're like begging please let us
oh
play.
God.
And then it's like all the follow-up emails, because for every like 100 emails we send we'll maybe get like 5 responses out
oh
of all
yeah.
those.
Mm.
Then it's like we'll have a week where we just can't get anything booked at all. Nobody's getting back to us. But then we'll have the next week where, oh, there's 10 venues reaching out to us at the same time, and we just don't know
Wow.
what to do or where to go, or you know, a lot of logistical stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like
is
there's for every single show that we do book though there's a lot of love that's going into it, because we book the show and then obviously advertising and promoting it to get people to come out, and just for that one night it's I feel like we're just putting a lot more time than people realize than just when we're performing for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it's worth it. I mean, it's we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't enjoy it and if we didn't
yeah.
feel like it was fruitful.
When we're not touring, typically Andy will come over um, to our house around 8 a.m. every day, and usually from around 8 to noon, we're working on booking or um, promotional things for the shows.
Mm-hmm.
So gosh, yeah, it takes, unfortunately, it just takes up so much time, which
It does.
Um,
And like even when we're on tour, Noah drives everywhere. And when Noah's driving,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like answering emails, like promoting this show here, promoting that show
Yeah.
there. And it's like we're working up until we get to the venue to unload and set up, and then we have to
Mhm.
perform, and then we just like rinse and repeat and do it again the next day.
which is well worth it. You know, we love touring, we love playing concerts for people, but almost every group we play with when we're on the road um, is talks to us about their booking agent and kind of is telling
And
us
you're
about
just
their
there,
tours. We're like, oh
jealous.
gosh, that
Yeah.
would be so nice.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like our days would just like free up so much, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to manifest that. We're going to say booking
Yes.
agent to the
Yes,
Wildwoods.
please.
It's
Oh,
coming.
please.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much. We definitely hope to see you on tour soon. It sounds like it's
Yeah.
coming. There's a big one coming. So check the
Yeah.
website,
Yes.
check social media. Thank you so much, both of you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much,
thank
Val.
you.
We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us on today.
Yeah.